Welcome to On the Chain.
Look at this, Jeff. This is like grabbing the headlines. XRP price prediction is Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse announces a plan to utilize how much, Jeff? I almost feel like you
All
have to
of
do
it.
the billion like
$1
this.
billion.
But that was like 10 million. $1 billion.
$1 million.
Nelson Pollard's cash reserves for company expansion. And it's almost like, do you think Ripple gives zero Fs at this moment, Jeff? They almost seem not to care that there's a lawsuit pending, that anything's happening. They don't care. Ask them if they care.
They don't.
Zero Fs given. Done.
Don't care.
They don't care, because when you start putting this news out, it's like, hey, you don't really care, you know? But I'm so glad to be called. So XRP, the cryptocurrency issued by U.S. fintech, not exactly. We'll let them slide in that one. But at least they're not calling a startup 11 years later, right? You can only be a startup for like the first 3, 5 years, 6 years. You can't only be called a startup, especially if when your net worth is $15 billion.
Yeah, the multi-billion-dollar startup that's been around for the past 12 years. That was one of the founders in the crypto space.
So the plan, Jeff, get this, is to spend up to $1 billion from the company's cash reserves. They're just shoving it in your eye. We got $1 billion cash reserves. We don't know what to do with it. It's burning a hole in our pocket. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to do something with it. So this is when he was at the Dubai FinTech Summit last week. He said, it's clear that Ripple's ready to grow. We've had more than $1 billion in cash on our balance sheet. Bragger. We want to deploy that to grow both organically, internally, but also inorganically through acquisitions. The CEO further pointed to Switzerland and the United Arab Emirates as a country that are attractive places for Ripple to look. Jeff, why would they be looking, out of curiosity, would be looking to Switzerland or United Arab Emirates? Do you have any kind of clue why they might be looking there?
I would have no idea why they would want to choose.
Sure. Zero idea.
Zero idea why they might want to choose Switzerland or Dubai or someplace that just doesn't happen to be the US. Yeah. Yep.
But look at this. Yep. He said, we'll make acquisitions in markets that are friendly to these technologies. You have representation from the UAE, representation from Switzerland. These countries are providing clarity for entrepreneurs to invest in. That allows a company like Ripple that is larger to invest, he said. And here's, look at this. They grabbed Crypto Eddie's tweet here about Ripple aspires to be more than just liquidity and payments, acquisitions in crypto-friendly markets. This was like the little sound bit. So it's just like how our show works, Jeff. Crypto Eddie and all the other people do all the work, and we just talk about it. So this is like they do is they write. She does the work. She posts the clip, and then they write a whole article about this. A whole article about one little tiny video.
It's nice.
What do you think about that?
It's very perfect. Indeed. So, you know, this whole thing, as we're kind of expanding into it and kind of identifying, you know, and this is really, you know, poignant, I think, right there, that top sentence. If Garlinghouse's plan proves to be successful, more companies start using XRP for liquidity and cross-border payments, there is a reason to believe XRP would also rise in price. Now, you know, that's an interesting concept in principle. But if you go over to, you know, when we get into David Schwartz's article, that guy, or, you know, the statement from him, he seems to be against utilizing XRP in projects. I don't know. We're just going to hint at that. Then we're actually going to get into it and read it. But what are your thoughts about this, Chip? You know, if we get into the direction that Ripple's moving in, the direction right now, we're kind of at a crossroads in crypto at large, as we've talked about many, many times. And here we are, Ripple sitting at getting ready to invest $1 billion into infrastructure and further development of their platform on a global scale. Now, will that have a direct impact? And obviously, we don't know exactly what they're spending it on, but let's say they spend it on more companies developing in the space that can help facilitate larger growth and infrastructure across. How is that going to impact the crypto space?
Well, I think it'd be good for IPO
for Ripple.
For Ripple.
You know, but at the end of the day, you know, here's my thought. You know, I think that Ripple on its own is, you know, never going to be enough to move the valuation, or I would say the volume of XRP to a level where it can scale, in mass numbers. I think it could have an impact on it, but I don't know if it's going to scale in the mass numbers. But what I do know is that if you get more companies building and rolling out on the platform, utilizing the XRPL, utilizing XRP, figuring out a way to have the XLS20s tokens kind of all integrated within a platform. When we see Flare and Songbird and all the different things that are going on over there start expanding, XDC, and we start seeing a full expansion of the space, I think it's at that point we're going to start seeing XRP scaling to bigger levels, bigger numbers. Right now, I also, Chip, believe that the pricing of XRP has been withheld, obviously oppressed and suppressed by the SEC. But what are your thoughts overall?
Oh, I think you're spot on. I mean, what's funny is when we had there was a bull run, the one real, I'm going to say like top 20 that didn't really see a new all-time high was XRP. I mean, whatever it was. I mean, some say, well, it didn't really hit 370 or 340. Bottom line, it was 250 plus. It was $3, whatever it was. The all-time high, it never had that because it is suppressed. There's a lot of stuff going on, but it probably will have a nice run coming up, right? And I think when it blows past like $3, $4, $5, it becomes something where people jump all into, just because it's so cheap, right? So I mean, Ethereum, you remember back when Ethereum was like $40 and $60, then 180, then 300, then 1,500, and one only went to like what, $4,300, $4,400. I mean, it came back down, but I mean, not that we're thinking about that's where we're going to see XRP head. But look, I mean, if it blows past $3, $4, $5, it's going to keep running. It's going to keep going, might shoot up, come back down, shoot up. But you can have people jumping in and out of it. But again, what we talk about a lot on this channel is all about utility. It's about the utility and a lot of use cases. There's something in the Keep tonight that we're going to talk about. I hope we get to it. But a really good idea, a really solid idea about the XRPL. Someone has an idea, and I wanted to explore that a little bit. But what I really think is going on here is it's just interesting from watching Ripple. They don't seem to care about any of this, and it's like that one John Deaton tweet that we'll get to tonight about what's going on. Like, I think that they sort of have a real sort of a knowing how this case is going to go. I don't care what happens. It might take a try. It might come negative at first. But you go to the Supreme Court, and there's no way the Supreme Court's going to find that XRP is a security. And I even think they're having an issue with the way they look at it. Look, the oranges weren't the security, and in this case, XRP is not the security. It's all about the scheme. And so where's the investment contract? And Gary's like, there's an investment contract, and the expectation of a profit. Well, dude, I buy baseball cards. You can buy all kinds of things and hope that they go up. Are baseball cards a security? Certainly not. Certainly not, Jeff. But anyway, this is what I want to see right here. I want to see this right up there. Now, what is that? What is there a date on that? 2018. So you can see it's over $3, but we never even came close to that. Now, where my friends got in when they told me I was crazy for being in crypto and it's a scam and everything. Crazy. They got in. I don't know if you can see. I'm gonna make my cursor a little bit bigger, Jeff. They got in right here, and then they were mad. It went shot right back down. I'm like, dude, I told you to get in over here. It's like where I told you to get in over here. You guys got in over the top, and a lot of them sold, and they never went back to it. But it's kind of pathetic that we haven't had that sort of nuclear growth we should have. That hockey stick growth.
We definitely needed to see some growth, some patterns, some different
cones.
Axes, some different cones, all sorts of different things going on. Like, there's all sorts of, you got to look for the measurement and what are all those things that like the stochastic lines and all those different lines that they talk about. What's that?
It's too many words to remember, Jeff. Golden crosses, and it's like
golden crosses.
I leave that to blockchain backer. He's an expert in that. He knows what's going on. I even watch his shows, and I'm like, I still don't know what he's talking about. I've been watching for years.
Right,
Like
still.
he starts going into that stuff and like, you know, Fibonacci, this and that. I'm like,
Exactly.
I
You
don't
don't
know what he's
know.
talking about. I mean,
Man,
I
I'll tell
listen
you.
to him. It doesn't make it. Just I don't understand how he does it.
So I was working on. I've been working on some charts, you know, and I'm trying to figure out the whole charting system. So I kind of came up with this one, Chip.
Let's see what it looks like.
I got my
XRP.
XY axis, right?
Okay, Jeff.
I've got my XRP here.
That's
right?
so official
this
looking
is
right there.
X
God,
is over
that's
time, Y is value. So
Thank you,
as you
Jeff.
go over time, value of XRP increases. And these are just some lines.
Well, wait a minute. So wait a minute. The x-axis goes across. It's weird because it looks like the x. So the x-axis.
The x-axis is actually going across the bottom here.
Correct. That's what I'm saying. Like it's in a weird spot. Like the
it's
y-axis
in a weird
is up and
spot.
down.
My y-axis is up and down because that's over value.
And
So
now
as
your
you
cursor's like
increase- as
lighting
you
up the screen. Don't move your cursor. It lights up like
Oh, that's right. I light up the screen.
Now, I like this going back to grade school. We used to learn cursive, and you would write between the ascenders and descenders there. I see what you're doing there with the arrow.
That's what I'm trying to do right there with the arrow. You kind of line it up properly.
Yeah. And so I'm guessing
there you
that's
go.
XRP climbing up there. Nice.
That's XRP kind of hitting a trend. You know, when you hit your trend, make sure you always invest at the bottom and you sell at the top.
Yeah, when I look at something like that, I think that's super pro looking. And it must have took you a long time to put that together.
It took a long time. But since it's up and down, it should be Z, probably.
Right. That's
but
the
this
Z-axis.
So the Z-axis loaded is here
like
for the
this. Y is up
chart
and down, and yeah, it's doing some chart analysis. And I think we just
lost to do that quick while
20 viewers just bounced as we were talking
just
about
left.
that.
Are you down with OTC? Please like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when the next video drops.